Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daily Revelations. Thursdays are going to be different days for me when I do my devotionals, just because I have my biblical theology class on Thursday mornings. And so oftentimes I'm just going to pray and ask God what He wants me to do to share with you, because I don't have a whole lot of time to spend in the Word in the morning. Although I'm in the Word with a community, it isn't my one-on-one time with God. And so this morning I was praying about it. Do I come home? Do I, dive into the next chapters that we're going through? And the thing that God kept laying on my heart is, there's some notes you have that I really want you to share. And it was something from this last week. As I dove into chapter 9 and was talking about Noah, I shared with you the first half of Genesis 9, but I didn't dive into the second half. I have a nice little drawing, as some of you know that have been with me for a while, and the videos that I used to do on Facebook, I would show you my drawings, which I'm not a good artist. I'm an engineer by heart, so they're very technical in nature, but they get the point across, and they help me to process sometimes. So if drawing or journaling, maybe not even just words, but pictures and symbols, and that helps you to integrate what God is teaching you, use those things. And what I'm going to talk about is really weird and awkward, something that not a lot of people talk about, because we just see the after effects of when it does not work well. And we see that pastors fail. We see them take huge dives and go into lives, huge sins, what we call huge sins, God calls sins all the same, that compromise their character. And Noah kind of did the same thing. He planted a vineyard and got drunk and was naked. What do you do with that when it's stuck in the middle? There's a reason it's there. And I want to point this out to you. When God uses you mightily, just as I wrote in this picture, there is a lot of preparation and praying and just pressing into God. And you exert so much of yourself when God uses you in a mighty way. And then you get to this mountaintop type of experience. The only problem is we don't teach people the proper way to go back down the mountain. And oftentimes, this is where our ministry leaders slip up. And I've seen it in my own life. I have learned to say to myself after I get done with a speaking engagement or something that has just been how God has used me powerfully, take time, step back, because this is when Satan can most get you. It's when our pride is high, if we let it go there. It's when our eyes are lifted up and we don't watch where our feet are. And walking down a mountain is just as dangerous as going up it. And we need to be mindful of that it's not, I deserve a rest because of this great thing that I did with God. No, I have to methodically and carefully come back down that same mountain and learn what God has for me on the other side, not just to run down, because more than likely you will trip and fall and roll, and you will end up in a heap of a mess. And that's where we see these people that have been used by God fail so greatly. They have these ups and these downs in their ministry life because we don't learn that lesson on the backside, that there's just as much work and leaning on God on the walk down as there was on the way up to process everything that happened. And Noah had a huge time period where that had affected his life. And that meant he had a long time to de-escalate through that process as well. And I talked a little bit about that, about how God, just helped recenter his life by keeping him in the ark for a while. But then when he was released from the ark, he didn't continue that process as well as he probably should have. And so it's a lesson for all of us. We all get used by God. Our hills may be smaller, But usually when we get started in trusting in God to use us, they are smaller because we need to learn that ebb and flow of ministry and how God asks us to lean on Him when we're gearing up for something and when we're coming out of something that He's called us to do. And it may be a daily thing that you do. Learn it when you have the time to learn it small. Because if we don't, that is when we can fail miserably in front of everybody. And that's really not a place that we want to be. But it will catch you off guard if you don't prepare and make a concerted effort to put the time in to delve into walking down the mountain just as much as you did walking up. So, and really, I was reading a book this morning before I left for my class from the CEO of World Relief, and he was talking about how much our society says that it's about making us happy. And sometimes when we are in ministry or we do something good for other people, we think, well, now I deserve to do something good for me. And that can take that attitude of I can just do whatever I want on my way down this mountain. But it's God's mountain, and He needs to help us navigate our way out as well as our way up. So I hope that was an encouragement for you today. It definitely was for me when I wrote it a couple days ago, and it's something that I've been thinking about a lot as I have some really big speaking engagements coming up this year, and just how can I even be more purposeful in going into those things, but even more so coming out of them, and to ensure that I am taking the path that God wants me to take that way, as well as on the way up. So blessings on your day. Thanks for joining Daily Revelations. It's always encouraging because it's God, and He always has things to encourage our hearts, no matter where we're at, because He's there with us. So have an awesome day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great